Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the call tonight. I appreciate the fact that you muted your lines and did those things. It makes the call just nicer for us all. We've got a very special call tonight. My name is Pat Patterson, and I'm National Marketing Director. I've been involved in the business for about 25 years, and it's been a wonderful thing for me and for my family. And I know, like all of you, that there's lots of benefits that we get from the product and also many, many benefits we get from the business. So I'm really happy to be on the call with you all here tonight. Cheryl's just unable to be on the call with us. Some things came up at the last minute, which they sometimes do for all of us, and she wishes she could be on. However, I'm happy to be hosting the call on her behalf. It's great to have a call like we're going to have tonight because I've got a very good friend, Candace Corson, a medical doctor, who's going to be with some of her people that she knows well, are going to share some things about the great Juice Plus product. And so I really would like to give you a little background of Candace. Candace has a great professional background. She's has studied family and integrative medicine. She's served with the United States Public Health Service in the National Health Service Corps. She's a national health educator and speaker. She got her bachelor's degree from Yale College and then went to Yale University Medical School for her medical degree. She then did her residency in family practice medicine at the University of Rochester. Candace has been a friend, like I say, for some time and had a chance to work with her, and she came into the business much like most of us did. She had a friend who was willing to tell her about a great product and the things that it did. She was struggling herself with family health problems with her children, and just happened to be that friend told her about Juice Plus at the right time. She looked into it, decided it was something that she and her doctor husband decided that they would do as part of their regular family nutritional program to try to keep their kids healthy from all of the junk food and things that are presented to them at school and as they're growing up. And it turned out to be a very successful thing. Candace is a National Marketing Director, 100 Club member, and part of the Cortese team, and we're really pleased to have her here with us tonight. So, Candace, are you there?
I am here.
Wonderful. I would just love to just turn the call over to you. I know you've got some other people that are going to be on here with you, and I'd just like you to go ahead and introduce them and tell us what you have for us tonight. We're all anxious to hear.
Absolutely. I'm going to make sure I've got my beautiful speaker companions here to share from the health journey. Andy Kennedy.
I'm here.
Yes. Amanda Bird.
I'm here.
Lisa Walker. And Laura Cornelius. Do we have any
I'm
Laura?
Here.
Great.
Yep.
And Lisa? Okay.
You can come back to Lisa in a little bit. She may get...
Yes, it'll work out.
Yes,
so,
fine.
So ever so briefly, because this story, tonight this call is about the stories of the people who have taken the time and the courage to share with us, because they really need something that everyone deserves to hear about. Hope, inspiration, knowledge. It just makes me up every time I get to hear stories like this. And in a nutshell, I was trained to diagnose symptoms and treat symptoms, and there's a really good place for that. But in terms of getting to the deeper aspects of what is causing illness and then how to repair, aligning with nature, learning how work in nature, then getting a message that I'm hearing. Are you having trouble hearing me, Pat, at all?
I can hear you. Just every once in a while I get a little echo in the background. But go ahead. Let's see what happens.
I'm not a mobile. This is available right now. But as a family doctor, I really just knew that I had a passion to help people. also was a diagnosis that got me when I
Candace,
yes,
Candace, excuse me. Tell me, are you on a cell phone or are you? What?
I am.
You're fading in, kind of in and out. So if you are on a speaker, I appreciate you just take it off of that and just hold it and talk because you're fading in and out. So
okay.
Go ahead, try again.
I'm not sure why that is. I'm going to go ahead and dial back in. I'm going to introduce Andy Kennedy.
Okay, go right ahead. Sometimes we have technical problems and we'll try to solve them, but she'll dial back in. As soon as she's on, we'll continue. Are you back?
I'm going to go ahead and introduce Andy and then let her speak while I come back in on another.
I don't know if this is Andy. I don't know if can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll take it away. Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to share my story tonight. I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I'm actually calling from Pullman, Washington. My husband and I are on a huge road trip. No, I can hear you now, Candace.
Yes,
is that better?
We can hear you. Uh-huh.
Well, it's an interesting mystery. I have no idea. I'm on the same phone. Okay. Basically, when my children's school got vending machines, it sounds like a small thing. It really changed the way that their taste buds work. We could call that metabolic programming, which is true. And they literally stopped wanting and eating plants the first week that the vending machines were in their lives. 5 days a week a day. And it only took 4 months until my 15-year-old developed asthma, which is the whole diagnosis that we want to study nutrition in the first place, that we did not get in medical school. I've been studying nutrition to help people reverse their inflammatory states, reverse their autoimmune problems, reverse asthma, and so forth. Because my healthy friend is no longer healthy, and it really humbled me to the core. But that could never be. You got humbled. Well, why am I immune from this? It's happening to the whole culture. In a nutshell, this is when my friend Susan introduced the whole idea. Would you be open to seeing the clinical research at major universities about these flaws, if it could possibly help your children? Because she knew I was concerned about them. And I said I'd be happy to look at it. I'd be delighted and loved what I saw. Good studies on the immune system, on DNA repair, blueprint of every cell in our body, and on free radical damage coming down dramatically in the bloodstream. All of this, of course, is people wrap up. Bottom line, the Children's Health Study has just begun. This was 16 years ago. Thought it made a lot of sense to start. Well, I just fell in love with a company that would do this for free for years. And within that circle of the family, and it got my husband involved, so he could do this as a 13-year-old. And I like to tell people, it's a little shocking, but it's very true. Son has not used an inhaler. It's been close to 16 years he's using it regularly. And he is in the emergency room tonight, but it's because he's taking care of people. He's an emergency room physician, and he knows how to that's just been so helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Andy Kennedy. I apologize for whatever is happening with this phone. I want the speakers to speak so that it's about them and not me. And Andy Kennedy is from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Author, writer, blogger, calligrapher, and photographer, Reiki and crystal master, a master gardener, and a former marketing director for the Yampa Valley Sustainability Council. She left her job in 2016 to pursue sharing Juice Plus full-time with her husband, Craig. Andy, go ahead.
Hi, Candace. Thank you, and thank you to the Core TV organization for hosting this call for 25 years. And I just feel so honored to be sharing my story tonight. I do hope that it helps someone make the decision, the right decision, to add more fruits and vegetables. 9 years ago, really, is where my story began. My husband was introduced to Juice Plus, but and started taking it back then for bone density. But I was one of those people that did not see the benefit right away. I didn't get it right away, and I didn't understand that it was, what it was. And I actually back then started getting inflammation in my hands and feet. So I embarked on a really long journey of elimination diet, from cutting out gluten to all sorts of veg. And I really, over that course of 7 years, lost the joy of food. I really, it was really frustrating to go on a diet and get a little bit better. Really, for me, it was mostly inflammation, painful, though, quite painful inflammation in my hands and feet, all the way up my arms. And to not have a good diagnosis for it, either. And I am not someone that heals, with medicine or, takes a lot of medicine. So I didn't want to go on, in most of the things that the Western doctors were prescribing me. So I saw a naturopathic doctor, and we worked for years on different food analysis and food allergies. I was diagnosed with food allergies, but really in the end, after 7 years, the clincher for me was my diagnosis with Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune disease for hypothyroidism. And bless her heart, my dear friend Lori Agner was just super patient with me. And in the end, her patience won out, and she said, I really don't think you know what you're saying no to. I mean, even my naturopathic doctor, who knew about Juice Plus, also, I don't think still to this day doesn't really quite understand what it is. Because I thought, well, if I can't eat tomatoes and eggplants and oats, then I can't eat Juice Plus. And, Lori kind of sat me down and showed me the big picture, and I knew that something needed to shift. I didn't know what I was saying no to. So, once I started listening to some of the calls and really reading the studies, the science behind Juice Plus, it started to make sense. Something that Dr. Paul Williams said was that Juice Plus was safe for everyone. So I jumped in both to the business and, just to take the product, for me. And, I started taking everything, the fruit and veggie capsules and the complete powder, even though I had been off of soy for, probably 9 years. And, immediately I started noticing that I was sleeping better. That was a symptom that I had, was I did not sleep through the night. And my pain was starting to drastically reduce. I also, within maybe a month, noticed, that my sugar cravings decreased. And fast forward about 6 months, I was off all my thyroid medicine. They had prescribed Synthroid, and I really didn't want to be on that for very long. So, I was able to wean off of that, but I also noticed that when I ate, the bloating and cramping I definitely had gut issues and IBS, and all of that decreased. But for me, really the thyroid, was the most amazing, shift. And I actually just went and had blood work done, and my new doctor said I would not diagnose you with Hashimoto's. So, even though I have been genetically tested and I do have that thyroid MTHFR gene, I do not show any of the symptoms anymore of hypothyroidism. And I actually do double up on my Juice Plus, so I take both the capsules and the gummies. But I've really noticed that my body's healed on a cellular level. And I've gone back to even eating some of the foods, tomatoes especially, because I missed them dearly when I cut them out. Eggplant as well as oats. I eat oats almost every day because I make complete balls, and have those. So I'm just so thankful to my friend Lori, and I feel so blessed to have had this come into my life. I won't go a day without my Juice Plus, capsules or my complete. I really notice, even if I do get inflammation, if I take the complete, the inflammation, is really drastically reduced almost immediately. So putting more matter in your body matters, and it will be my foundation of health forever. So thank you, Candace.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And, to see really the picture of obedience call. And that's a spiritual call. It's just so joyful for me to know that this is what happens when we follow the advice of Hippocrates, one of the fathers of medicine, who said that food be your medicine, let medicine be your food, and we really have done that. I'm going to stick to another phone, and I think that's the only solution for us at this point.
Yes, I'm here.
I'm getting a real that people can't hear me. I've never had a 16 years, so I am going to love.
Sure, absolutely. If you guys will let me, I'd like to paint just a little bit of a picture of sort of the adventure that my body has been on in the past 17 years, just to give you an idea of where I've been and where I am today. As a senior in high school, I was actually diagnosed by Mayo Clinic with an autonomic disorder, not an autoimmune, but an autonomic, which are all the systems, which is a system that controls sort of all the things that automatically happen inside of our body. And for the easiest way to understand my condition is basically that my heart and my brain don't communicate correctly, and the electrical wiring in my body is off. So you can imagine that caused a host of issues throughout the years. I've been to Mayo and Vanderbilt and Cleveland Clinic and a specializing doctor in Toledo, Ohio, and they sort of spent 5 years trying to find, the right mix of pharmaceuticals, and we didn't know any better, and we thought, we need to do what we can to get me through a day. And then in my early 20s, we did find a good balance of pharmaceuticals that ranged anywhere from 4 to 13 pills a day, which did not include the 2 to 4 Aleve that I had to take on a daily basis for about 10 years to address inflammation in the wall of my heart. It's called pericarditis. That inflammation actually caused the wall of my heart to sort of rub against my rib cage, which you can imagine is not comfortable. And then in 2012, I underwent a full hysterectomy, and the hope there was that by removing sort of the hormone fluctuation, it would help my body and my heart, or my brain and my heart, to communicate better. It was definitely helpful, but it was certainly not a cure. And then, unfortunately, in 2014, my brain crashed, and that actually left me half paralyzed. My right side of my brain shut down, and so I lost the left side of my body for about 4 months. It would come and go, but doctors simply said, your brain's tired. It's tired of fighting. We're really not sure how to address this. And by the grace of God, and it truly was by the grace of God, I met a functional neurologist through a close friend of mine who actually started to make the first non-pharmaceutical strides towards recovering my health. And unfortunately, during that time, I also lost, because of the parts of my brain that stopped functioning, about 13 years of my memory, which included college, proposal from my husband, our wedding, and giving birth to my 2 kids. And it was fairly devastating, and there were just a lot of questions. Then by May, through vestibular therapy from the functional neurologist, by May of that year, I was actually back on my feet, back on both feet, actually, and still searching for ways. He had coached me through nutrition, and I was a squeaky clean eater. If anybody's familiar with paleo, I was a college athlete, and we own a CrossFit gym, and so I knew what, at the time, good nutrition looked like. I just didn't know where my deficits were. So then, in October, actually at our CrossFit gym of that year, a friend introduced me to Juice Plus. And as you can imagine, after 16 years of the best doctors just sort of throwing their hands up in the air and saying, here, let's try this, here's another medication, let's try that, I was really skeptical. And to be honest, I'm beyond thankful that I said yes to starting the product, but I did it simply because I knew that our family of 4, we weren't eating enough fruits and vegetables, and we certainly were not eating the quality or the variety that we can get from Juice Plus. So I thought, okay, let's alleviate some mommy guilt, and we'll just see what happens. I had never, when I said yes to Juice Plus, I had never even considered the possibility of my health taking a drastic turn. And then within 3 months, I actually ran out of Aleve. I'd been taking it every single day for 10 years just to keep the inflammation in my heart down. Within 3 months, I ran out. I actually didn't say something to my husband at the time because I thought he'd say, "You're crazy. What are you doing?" And I didn't replace it. And I thought, okay, let's give this Juice Plus stuff a run for its money and see what happens. I knew that the Aleve was killing my organs, and I knew that I couldn't do that long term. And that was well over a year and a half ago, and I have not taken a single Aleve since then. And I can even throw in there, sad side note for CrossFit, a CrossFit-related injury. Had an MRI on my shoulder, and the surgeon said, "This is really odd. You need surgery. You need a major surgery. But the funny thing is there's no inflammation in your shoulder." And I just laughed at him, and I said, "Yeah, I can tell you exactly why there's no inflammation. It's the power of these micronutrients, this whole food, fruit and vegetable, and a capsule that I take every day." And so obviously Nikki and I talked about that further, but let's then talk about my favorite part of the story. So fast forward a year and a half, and I am actually thrilled to be able to say that after 17 years, sort of governed and dictated by pharmaceuticals from the best to the best, I have not taken a single pill since last October. This may be the first time I've ever said that out loud without crying, but I know there's probably 1,000 people on this call, so we'll keep the tears at bay. But it's incredible. It's been an unbelievable blessing for us. And at 35, I actually feel better than I did when I was 16 years old. And the science behind the power of fruits and vegetables is absolutely incredible. And it was something that I did not understand, until I was introduced to Juice Plus. My body has certainly responded better than I could ever have imagined. And what's crazy to me is for 17 years, I was dependent on pharmaceuticals to keep me alive. And now fruits and vegetables have actually given me my life back, essentially. The Lord was extremely faithful through the entire journey that we've been on, and has certainly placed the perfect people in my path. He was never surprised by any of this, which has provided a lot of peace. But even in the questioning, now I get to sit here and spend every day raising our 7 and 8-year-old sons, who thankfully I do remember giving birth to now, and I do remember marrying my husband of 13 and a half years. There was a day I distinctly remember when my memory came back, following some really sharp pains in my head, and the doctors described that as whatever you're doing, you've triggered that part of your brain to click back on. And as Dr. Corson mentioned, we do own a CrossFit gym, and I'm a college professor and women's head soccer coach at the university. So our life is extremely busy, but we're blessed and beyond grateful. And just like mentioned before, we never miss a day with Juice Plus or with the shakes. And thankfully, the day that I said yes to the product, I also thought, as a coach, maybe there's other people in my life that could use this. And so I also said yes to the business. And my business has grown beyond my wildest imagination. So our family went from very, very skeptical, squinty-eyed, wondering if this is some magic thing, to now understanding the science. And there's 37 research studies behind this where we can look at my body and say, hey, this isn't even why we started with this, but look what's happened. And we're just extremely grateful.
Thank you so much, Amanda. That is nice. We are so overjoyed to be able to share with other people, because we know the power of this nutrition, the elegance, the complexity of nature is there, and none of us knows as an individual or a healthcare practitioner exactly what a person needs at any time in their life, but nature knows, and the designer of our body is the same designer that designed this food, and that is all known. We just need to give the access to that wide range of materials of the whole plant foods that form the foundation of our health, also feeding the foundation of the good germs, the beneficial bacteria that play such an intricate role. We now know they control our digestion. They help us digest. They make vitamins and anti-cancer substances for us, but they also control the right pathways of inflammation and bring that inflammatory burden down. So I can hear that in everybody's story, and the body is just healing with what it knows how to do, but with the tools that it needs. So it just makes me so incredibly happy. Thank you so much, Amanda. I never get tired of hearing your story and everyone else who is willing to share these amazing stories of their own experience. And next, Lisa, do I have you on the line? Lisa Walker?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, great. Lisa is from Newton, North Carolina, a wife and mother of three, a son in college, a son in graduate school, and a daughter in high school. She is full-time working in ministry, especially dedicated to children's ministry and helping women. And she has been part of the Juice Plus family for years. Lisa, I've called twice today, and both of those times were listening to your story because I played it back to my husband, who's also in the position of 20 years. So touched by your story. And I'm so glad that technology can let us all come together. I'm using an older phone. When I was on this phone with a brand new iPhone, which I was back to the start. So please share with us. I'm just so grateful for you sharing.
Sure. First, I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to share my story tonight, and hopefully it'll be an inspiration to someone on our call. So growing up, we were not a very wealthy family, and our diet consisted primarily of processed foods and fried foods, and even if we did have vegetables, they were cooked to death and seasoned with lots of fat. And as growing up also as children in our home, our biological father was very controlling and would insist that everything had to always be eaten on our plate every night, regardless if we were hungry or not, if we just liked the meal. It didn't matter because, you know, there's starving children in other countries. And so by the time I was in upper elementary, I had developed a very unhealthy relationship with food. And that progressed and followed me into my college years, where my diet as a busy music major consisted of items from vending machines and fast food, and I really had no idea what healthy eating looked like. And by the time I was married and had three small children and in ministry full time, busy life, I came to a point where everything just came crashing down, and I couldn't keep up that happy face for everyone anymore. I'd lost myself. My health was a wreck. I struggled really to even get out of the bed every day. And I was 292 pounds, exhausted, depressed, and diabetic, who was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm sure many of you on the call tonight have heard the saying that people change because either they learn enough that they want to, or because they hurt enough that they have to. And I definitely hadn't learned any better, but I guess I hurt enough, deep enough, that I was desperate for a change. And that's where Juice Plus came into my life. A friend of mine had posted on Facebook that she was putting in orders for Juice Plus if anyone was interested, and I had never heard of it. But I reached out to her and began a several-day conversation. And Juice Plus made sense to me because I knew my family didn't get the 9 to 13 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables on any day, let alone every day. And I was intrigued by the amount of research with it. And I knew immediately that my entire family desperately needed Juice Plus in our lives to help us get healthier. My sons were both athletes, and my daughter was beginning to form those same bad habits that I had developed over the years, and I could see myself in her, and I wanted a different life for them. So we made the choice to add Juice Plus to our diet. And I had no idea what that yes would mean for our family. My product results were immediate, almost, and shocking. Day one, I added the Trio capsules, and I added a complete shake, and I began a whole brand new journey of one simple change at a time by trying to eat cleaner and drinking more water. And my fasting blood sugar the day I started Juice Plus was 248, which is not good at all. But day 2, it was 156. Day 3, it was 110. And day 4, it was 111. So I picked up the phone, called my doctor, made an appointment, and took all of my Juice Plus with me. Poor fellow. When I think back to that day, it's almost amusing because as soon as he hit the door, I hit him with everything. But he entertained me, and he read the labels and asked a few questions and just kind of looked at me and said, well, I don't know, but keep doing what you're doing. And then 2 months later, my husband's cholesterol, triglycerides, blood pressure had all improved, and my boys noticed they weren't getting as sore from workouts. And so here we are 3 years down the road, and I have so much to be thankful for. I have so much more energy. I'm off of both of my short-acting insulins and fast-acting insulins completely. I'm down 90 pounds, and our family went from being to the doctor 4 times a year each to maybe twice in 3 years altogether. And just this past week, my husband was told by his doctor that they're going to take him off of one medication completely, and they're cutting the other one in half. We will never go without our Juice Plus. And now, because of Juice Plus, we've grown from a place of desperation to a place of hope and promise. And I finally discovered that health is not a destination, but it's a journey. And it's a journey that all of us are on. And because of Juice Plus and the amazing friends that I've made in this company, I've learned how to embrace my journey and to use my experience to help others and to inspire them to take their health one simple step at a time so that they too can create a life that they love living. I'll forever be grateful for this company and this mission.
Lisa, thank you so much for sharing. You know, knowing as a medical doctor, there's only so much that we can do. Medications are needed. We're grateful for them. But what you have just described, as everyone can hear on the line, and as your doctor has recognized too, is something that cannot happen with drugs alone. We have to have those intricate, you know, thousands and thousands of proper exact building blocks that the body has to have, and the body knows what to do with these, and the little good germs know what to do, but we have to have them. And I think it's, you know, we've talked about bridging the gap now for many years with Juice Plus. It's not instead of eating produce, we need to eat as much as we possibly can grow or find as fresh, good quality purchase as we can, but we know we need to take it from the best we can possibly do to where our body really needs to be today, and that we really see that bridging the gap makes an enormous difference. So thank you so much. I'm just totally inspired by what you shared with us. Absolutely. And now we're going to go to our last speaker and go ahead and share. I am having all kinds of interesting technical problems today. We'll go ahead and have you jump on the line here with us and share your story.
Thank you, Dr. Corson.
Yes, Laura.
I was introduced to Juice Plus about a year ago, shortly after my 9th spinal surgery. I was born with spina bifida occulta, but I was asymptomatic until I got into a car accident in 2002. I lost feeling in my bladder and leg, and the doctor ordered an MRI. My spinal cord was being tethered by a lipoma, which is a fatty tumor, and surgically my nerves had to be carefully dug out and released from the tumor. I had many complications and many surgeries, and then I find out in 2015 that my initial surgeries done in 2002 were not done correctly, and that my spinal cord retethered and I would need surgery again. I had many more surgeries and complications due to spinal leakages, bleeding on my brain, and spinal fluid left, and even more chronic pain than before my surgeries, and my nerves were severely irritated. I truly thought my life was going to consist of me laying on the couch all day as a grumpy mommy in severe pain. The doctors told me, due to the severity of my case, that I would have to get on the right cocktail of medications to help me manage the pain, and I would probably be on them for life. And at the time, I was on 8 medications for pain and depression. I was on Facebook one day, and somebody posted a picture of the Tower Garden, and I knew I had to have that thing. I always loved gardening, and the Tower Garden didn't require any bending and weeding. It watered itself, and I could feed my family organic, non-GMO food all year round. I said, sign me up. So she did. She also told me about these fruit and veggie capsules and how my kids could get their gummies for free. So I said, sure, what's one more thing? At this point, I felt that I have tried every cream, oil, supplement, drug, wrap, you name it, and nothing was working. So I thought, let's give these fruits and veggies a try. I got my Tower Garden, which brought me much joy and produce. I started taking the capsules, and after a few weeks, I noticed I had more energy and less pain. I wasn't sure if it was the cocktail of medications working or if it was the Juice Plus. I told my doctors I was feeling great and that I wanted to start coming off some of these meds. So with each decrease in medication, I noticed that I was still feeling well. At one of my checkups, my doctor told me that I was severely anemic, and it was so bad that I needed to see a hematologist. I was not happy to see another doctor, and apparently I was anemic for years, and it was never caught, even after all 9 of my surgeries. So I went to see the hematologist, and I took his advice to have iron infusions. At this point, I just started Juice Plus. And after my 4 weeks of iron infusions, my hemoglobin went up to a 10.2, and the doctor said that was pretty good, and to come back in 3 months and to see if I can maintain that level. I went back after 3 months, so I've been on Juice Plus for 4 months at this point, did my labs, saw the doctor, and he gave me this strange face. He said, "How did your counts go up higher than right after your iron infusion? Your hemoglobin count went from a 10.2 to a 14.6. I told him the only thing I'm taking is Juice Plus. He smiled and said, "Keep doing what you're doing because it obviously works." I've had blood work since, and I am still in the 14 range. I was even more convinced that Juice Plus was truly getting me back to good health. But my husband was diagnosed with lymphomatoid papulosis, which is a rare skin disease. After losing his mom to lymphoma the year before, the last word we wanted to hear was a disease that sounded even similar to the word lymphoma. They told him to come back in 4 weeks so they could get a bigger biopsy once one of the bumps got bigger. At the time, I was taking Juice Plus with amazing results. My kids were taking Juice Plus, but my husband wasn't. And that didn't make sense, so I told him to start taking my capsules immediately and double up. I knew it was safe to do, since you can never get enough fruits and veggies. He did, and in 4 weeks, when he went back to the doctor to have a biopsy, there was nothing to biopsy. He has not gotten any bumps since, and has even been able to get off his migraine and allergy medication. I have also been able to get off medications, and I am a fully functioning, happy mommy wife and now certified health coach. Many of my extended family and friends have been seeing amazing results as well with Juice Plus, and we're just all so incredibly grateful. And I hope my story will inspire others to take their health into their own hands and to offer some encouragement to possibly turn over a new leaf and to know that it's okay to feel amazing.
Laura, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. You know, having heard your story, just imagining, with the doctor's mind, I can imagine, I know a lot of people can, the trajectory of your health and your life and your family if you hadn't had this stepping stone, strong stepping stone into better health. It's something that just touches my life every day to think about the changing of the trajectory of people's health. And you have really showed that, and you are really carrying that forward and sharing that with so many people, all those lives you're touching. And we know that we're touching future generations because when we affect the health of a father-to-be, we're protecting his DNA. We know that that's true. One of the studies that caught my attention way back when I first was open to looking the study was done in 1996, but I wasn't paying attention. But it showed a dramatic decrease in the amount of damaged DNA in human beings, in the nucleus of their white blood cells. And that study has since been replicated, different universities, different populations, but we know we're decreasing that damage. And of course the same obviously is true for that mother, and therefore we're protecting that proper blueprint. We're not doing it, but this wonderful nutritional breakthrough is doing it. Nature is doing the support that's needed to stop our DNA from being as damaged as it is today. And I can just picture the lives that are coming out of all 4 of our speakers, the lives that are enhanced by your courage and your caring about them and sharing on this call tonight and in the way that you carry yourselves every day, caring about people and sharing. So it is just a great joy to me. I actually hope that, I don't know how difficult this call will be. I so apologize, and my iPhone's going to get a doctor's checkup tomorrow at the iPhone place. But I hope that my son, who's working tonight in the emergency room, can actually hear this call later, because I think he will be very touched to realize the impact of this nutrition that keeps him healthy. He's happy to have it, but that he's not in a setting where he can share with the people he sees, with, maybe his friends and colleagues, but he personally knows that nutrition makes a difference. And every day we're all doing the best we can to be doing what we're here to do. We just know that we have such a better chance of having the energy, the mental health, the physical health, the immune health, to really honor our journey and honor the glory of this creation and share with people so that everybody has a chance for the life that they deserve now and in this next generation coming up. So, Pat, I want to turn this back over to you, and thank you so much for hosting this call tonight.
Thank you, Candace. Appreciate greatly this great meeting of the minds here tonight. Candace Corson has brought together these three lovely ladies, and I really appreciate Andy, Amanda, Lisa, and Laura for having the courage to step forward, tell their stories, their struggles, and their successes. And I think that's what this whole thing is about. Not only are they changing their own life, but they're changing the life of others. So with that, I appreciate all of you being on. I've opened the line up. If you want to give them a congratulations and thank you for this call tonight, feel free to do so. Thank you very much. Good night now.
Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you so much.